Good morning and welcome to the mountains of Colorado. Little more than 2 months on from the start of the season in Meiringen, we are underway with our final IFSC Bouldering World Cup of 2019. We're live here in the beautiful town of Vail. I'm Charlie Bosco, delighted to say that I think every year, as with every year we've been here, we've got Ahmed Torre next to me.
Yeah.
Ahmed, great to have you back.
Great to be back.
And we've just been up on the wall, given the altitude, not the most sympathetic set of boulders. It's burly, it's what we would traditionally say is American-style bouldering.
Very, very American style. Like, I feel like I've been thrown back into 2008 a little bit. It's really, really strong. Like, the fittest are going to survive, and really the smartest climber is going to survive today. So I'm really psyched to see what becomes of this.
Yeah, we've got a very strong semi-final. Of course, some of the bigger names are missing from today's competition, but a lot of the very strong climbers here. And we've got the regulation 20 men and 20 women through to the semi-finals. The crowd is building up nicely here in Vail. But before today's semi-final, let's have a look at the best of yesterday's action from the qualifiers. The bustling mountain town of Vail, Colorado provides the backdrop for the final IFSC Boulder World Cup of the season, and there is much to be decided on both the men's and women's side. Fresh from a silver medal in Munich, Fanny Gibert is hunting that first elusive World Cup win, but looked shaky in qualifying and only made it through to semis in 17th place, lower than we're used to seeing her, but still safely through. Fanny's compatriot Julia Shanodi fared much better, going through 7th overall, 4th in her group, with 4 tops on the 5 boulders in qualifying Group B, the opposite group that Janja Garnbret was in. Janja was one of 3 climbers in Group A to top all 5 boulders, and having won all 5 World Cups so far this year, talk abounds of a possible clean sweep of victories for the season. Those looking for weaknesses from Janja might look at her requiring 2 attempts on boulder 5, but she was faultless everywhere else throughout the round and still got number 5 done on her second go. With 6 podiums in Vail already under her belt, Akio Noguchi clearly enjoys climbing in the Colorado mountains. She'll have a shot at a 7th Vail medal because she took 5 tops in Group B, which nobody else could, and made semis at a canter. Germany's Alma Bestvater got 4 tops and 5 zones to progress from Group A, as did Kyra Condi, safely into the final in her home World Cup after narrowly missing out in Munich 3 weeks earlier. Sierra Blair Coyle made a return to IFSC action but narrowly missed out on semis, short by just 1 zone. Alex Johnson, meanwhile, did get through with 4 tops.
The boulders are really awesome. They were hard and challenging, but US style, so they suited us for sure. Not quite as much volume manipulation, which is something I struggle with, and not a lot of slab, which is also something I struggle with. So it was cool that we kind of got to showcase our strength and our power.
Alana Yip of Canada had an excellent day, qualifying 3rd in Group B, and she'll be joined in semis by her compatriot Alison Vest. Miho Nanaka, back in action after missing Munich, went through with 5 tops and will be joined in semis by Natsuki Tani, Mao Nakamura, Futaba Ito and Korea's Jane Kim. The men were up in the afternoon, and Slovenia had a rare off day with both Jerne Kruder and Gregor Vazonik missing out on semis. There were no such worries for Tomoa Narasaki, gunning for his 2nd World Cup season title, who topped all 5 boulders in Group A. Yoshiyuki Ogata looked super strong too, with 5 tops in just 6 attempts. Joining Tomoa and Yoshiyuki were no less than 7 other Japanese climbers, but sadly for him, Vail 2018 winner Rei Sugimoto was not one of them and missed out on the chance to defend his title. Adam Ondra, leading the overall standings, had no problems and took 5 tops in 9 attempts in Group B. Previous Vale winner Jongwon Chon also progressed with 4 tops and 5 zones in Group B. The USA's Nathaniel Coleman matched that score and actually qualified ahead of Chon due to needing less attempts. Canada's Sean McCall also went through, as did Alex Megos, through to his 4th semi-final of the year.
The big learning over the year is to not fall off in your first try. I think that is very, very crucial if you want to be a good comp boulderer. But I'm feeling all right, I would say. I mean, I climbed okay. I didn't climb the steep boulder, which I'm bummed about. But I climbed the gnarly slab, and that kind of saved me and got me into semis, I hope. So I've got another chance to climb tomorrow.
Always good to hear from Alex Megos, and always good to see climbers in their very first semi-final. And that is what we're seeing right now. We're live in Vale. Semi-final number 6, the 6th and final one of 2019, and both Alison Vess and Arthur Tennant of France, who are currently on screen, are appearing in their first semi-final. For Arthur, it's actually his first World Cup. Pretty good start to his career.
Yeah.
First good chance to have a look at number 1 for the women. Pretty much crimps all the way. We don't believe that there's too many secret methods. You basically got to bear down.
Yeah, this is one of those 2008 boulders I was talking about. Like not all that complicated, but very just crimpy. Got to just work your way through it and just keep moving. I expect that we'll see a lot of tops out of this one. Doesn't, not too complicated. A really good confidence builder. It'll make it for a really good semi-final the rest of the way.
Yeah, that is Alison Vess of Canada, as I say, appearing in her first World Cup semi-final. Charlie Bosco and Ahmed Torre here to talk you through the semi-final. We've got the finals again this afternoon at 3 o'clock, and we're looking for 6 men and 6 women to progress. Arthur Tennant, I was talking to Didier Dulac, the French coach, and I think they've got high hopes for Arthur.
Oh yeah, real good.
He looks the real deal, and as I say, first World Cup, first semi-final. Can't get much better than that.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Yeah, let's see how he deals with that pressure. It is a whole new field out here. So, and these semi-final boulders are always really tough. Seems to be doing pretty well out the gate, though.
Yeah, this is quite a physical start for the men. In fact, it's pretty physical all the way for the men.
Yeah, you got to really keep the tension throughout, and you can see that, all his little body movements and everything. Just keeping that tension. Hopefully he can get that hand up and get that. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
a little more dynamic movement, and we got the crimp. Very good.
Here's Alison back up to just below the top. Once she gets up to that next triangular volume, you can see the top hole beckoning, and Alison perhaps closing in. It's just blind there and couldn't quite find it.
I'm not quite sure she's getting that beta quite correct. I feel like the match is fine, but if she swings her foot out and maybe gets a heel on this other volume to the right, she can maybe get her right hand up to that next volume and make that a little bit, that transition a little easier. But we'll see if she figures that out, or if she's going to burl up to those crimps and keep going.
2 minutes left for these climbers, as ever. The regulation 5 minutes per semi-final boulder, then you get 5 minutes back behind the wall, and then you come out for the next one. And I think for the men, that short rest period versus a final where you could easily have a 15-20 minute rest after pretty much every boulder, it's going to be a big factor, because none of the men's boulders are gimmies at all physically.
No, not at all, and especially with this elevation, like up here, like it's, and traveling a lot for all these athletes, like you get all this different, from sea level to this high elevation right now, and it can be really daunting. And on these boulders especially, they're really physical, and they're going to get tired. So
it's not so much on each individual attempt, it's more cumulative in its recovery.
Exactly. So hopefully, I'm thinking all these climbers just want to get these boulders done as fast as humanly possible and get as many zones as quickly as humanly possible.
Here's Alison on number 1 again.
There we go.
Controls the swing, which is just feet cut loose at a crucial moment.
See, and just that body language, she looks very fatigued right now, and
And she's actually taken her scorecard with 50 seconds left and has decided to save herself the boulders still to come. So here goes Arthur. That lower section looked really physical when the route setters were testing it yesterday evening, but he's cruising through it. On top of the zone, so safely secured that. Allison also secured the zone pretty quickly on the women's number 1. You can see that's where he's heading. That blue hold on the next volume he's heading for just closes off the bit of the volume that you'd like to use most.
Exactly.
But there is that pink little jib that he'll catch, hopefully would have caught with his right thumb. And then you step out from there. So no tops, but 2 zones early on.
Not a bad start for his first semi.
Laura Agora now and Sean McColl onto the stage. Sean just acknowledges the crowd.
Yeah, what a showman.
Yeah, it's not been his season in the bouldering really for the 2nd year running. Just about made it into the semi-finals. Had a bit of a nervous wait yesterday, but it's always good to see Sean at this stage of a World Cup. Laura Agora, we saw a lot of her in the lead climbing last season. We're seeing more and more of her in the bouldering as well, and she's trying her luck on women's 1. Sean taking a long time to study men's 1, so we'll stick with Laura Agora. I don't think he's even had an attempt yet. Laura, particularly short climber. I wonder if she's going to struggle with these early moves.
Yeah, it's a little big, but she's working some different beta here. I find pretty interesting.
Slightly different method employed. And there you can see the zone awaits. So she, as well as Allison, has safely secured the zone. This is a tough move, you've got to commit. And as I say, Laura being one of the shorter climbers, this move's going to feel quite a long move. Definitely want to try and keep the feet on if at all possible. All the holds on that women's number 1, they're not bad, but you need to keep your feet on. As soon as the feet cut loose, it's going to get very, very difficult.
Exactly, and for that move from the zone to that other crimp, I think a little more dynamic movement is necessary there, and a little cut isn't the worst thing, especially for a crimp that size on a volume that, prolific. So hopefully she just gets a little bit more dynamic, gets a little comfortable with it, and she'll get that move.
You can see backstage there. This is our new backstage camera. You can see Fanny Gibert getting ready. 2nd in Munich for her, but just didn't follow it up here in Vail. She looked pretty shaky in the qualifiers, as we said in the highlights from yesterday, but she did enough to get through. And although it means she'll climb a bit earlier than normal, she will have a shot at making another final.
Then we got Sean going for his 2nd attempt, I believe.
Yeah, he was kind of shaking out his shoulders earlier on. I hope this is not carrying an injury. Seems to be going okay. Just working his way up those 2 lower volumes. As I say, this section looks so physical when the route setters were testing it, but Sean's seemingly not struggling at all. And hopefully now heading out to the zone. And then he's heading up to that volume.
He's got it.
Yeah, you might remember from Arthur where he was popping up to the next volume, and there's that little pink screw on that he's aiming for. There it is.
And let's see if Sean figures that out. And it's going to be a thumb. Ooh, let's see.
It may be easier to grab it with the left hand, but it's probably easier to stay there if you can get the right.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Thought about going direct. This is, I think, the same panel of war. Creativity from Sean. I think that's the same panel of war where we had that boulder. Do you remember where Sean, it felt like Sean was wedged in the corner for about 15 minutes?
I do
Was it that
remember
panel,
that.
Or was it the one next to it?
I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was that panel. I'm pretty sure it was that panel, yeah. Just stood out like looking at the crowd for a little bit.
Yeah.
I was really,
it was
it was right there on the, to the right, exactly.
It was either that one or the one to the right. But yeah, Sean back in a familiar part of war. We go all over the world with the IFSC, and he's back on that same square meter of wall where he had a big battle. I think that was a couple of years ago.
I think he can get this boulder if he on this attempt, if he just really commits to getting that thumb first.
Here goes Laura again. She is having to use a slightly different method, just adding a few extra moves. But with her lead climbing prowess, you wouldn't have thought endurance would be too much of an issue. Had no trouble getting up to the zone earlier, so this is the move.
It does seem like power is her thing right now. Come on.
Yeah, she's getting there, but just with She's just carrying a little too much momentum. 50 seconds to go still. Sean's still on the mat. Sean, one of the more cerebral climbers who really thinks about climbing. I think he's measuring his energy and his attempts very sensibly. Because once you start getting tired at this altitude, it's so hard to get it back. As I say, when you're on a boulder, it doesn't feel too different. It's when you come down and you think about having another go that the altitude really becomes an issue.
Exactly, that recovery time. And Sean, he's, very experienced, so... Oh, well, that's a bummer. Wow.
Yeah, that is going to...
He does have the zone.
For Sean. Let's have a look at Laura. Already had the zone, so this is her going for the top. I think she'll time out, even if she does do this next move that she's been struggling with. 5 seconds to go. No joy for Laura, but a zone secured. Alison Vest comes back out. Artur comes back out. First chance to have a look at women's 2 and men's 2. Hannah Moole, the third female climber out, and Alex Megos, who we mentioned earlier and saw being interviewed earlier, is out onto number 1, third semi-final of the year for Alex. World Cup winner himself, albeit in lead in Briançon last year. And looks like he's beginning to learn the game of bouldering.
Yeah.
Of competition bouldering, I should say.
He's finding his stride for sure this season.
Stride,
yeah. Getting a little bit more comfortable with it. Because it's nerve-wracking, for anybody, especially their first run at it. It's not is not at all calming. Everything is you're nervous the entire time. You're thinking, okay, now I'm representing my country too. A lot of it go. There's a lot involved.
Hannah Moore pretty close to sticking that move out on the zone, and. Here's Artur, first chance to have a look at men's 2. He's just stepping right into it. We did wonder whether you could go directly from the start straight into.
He did a mix of both
now.
Yeah.
But no, he's gone out left, and now he's safely secured the zone. And are we about to see our first top? There's the tiniest hold. It only just meets the definition of a hold that he's got his right foot on, but it's just enough to get you established.
And that looks like a top.
That looks like the first top of this semi-final.
Very good.
So, is Artur Ternant a slab climbing Jedi, or is men's 2 going to see some action?
It looks like that blocks volume. Looks like it's not as bad as I originally thought it was going to be. Because he kind of did a mix of some beta that we were talking about a little earlier, either going directly into that little chute there, or going extreme to the left and hitting those other blocks volumes and then moving over to the zone. But he did a bit of both. Yeah, just used the blocks volume, both blocks volume, the textured one and the dual tech one, and they just pulled up. Looked really easy.
Alison just struggling with the start here on number 2.
She did get the zone a little earlier, and then just missed going to that volume right above it. A little bit of a coordination move, I think, there. Little quick foot switch.
Let's have a look at Alex here on men's 1. Slightly unusual method. That is the zone secured for him, though. Still hasn't seen the top. We've just seen the first top of the semi-final on men's 2. And Alex just work his way up. Now we can see where he is. You can see the pink screw on the blue hold above that's just blocking the best part of the volume.
And he's got it. Wow, there it is.
First person to really get solid on that thumb catch. Now from here, it's technical, it's body position, but it's slightly less physical. So
I think if he just keeps it together, there we go. Maybe he can reach it. Nope.
That's a shame from Alex. Because if you can get your right foot underneath you, you should be pretty much home and hosed.
Exactly, and I think the toe hook is an interesting trick with from the route setter's perspective. I think they might have thought that people would try that and try and reach out for it, and it's just a little too far for that.
Frustrated looking Alison Vest, who's just been over to the zone again. So she's managed to get the zone on both the boulders. We haven't had a top yet in the women's semi-final. Hannah Moole, Alex Megos and Alison Vest still all on the mats, just over a minute remaining. Hannah Moole, the first of the 3 to pull back on women's 1, working her way through these crimps. A minute left. Alison Vest pulls back on. So this women's 2, we haven't had a prolonged look at it. You've got those 3 footholds. There's nothing above there for the hands. This is a different method from Alison.
Yeah, she's going straight hand to foot, which is very interesting.
So if she can pop that left foot across a couple of times, this may be...
And just keep it in the dihedral there. Not quite.
So Hannah Moule, again, that's the move that stopped Laura Rigora. Alex Megos is close on number 1. Hopefully we can have a look at him. Here he goes.
Oh, ooh, that was not the best fall. But he's looking okay. Yeah.
Always good to see Alex Megos in action.
Yeah.
Would have been good to see a bit more of that attempt. He must have been close. I think we can have another look. Here we go. So the top of that volume that he had his right hand on is obviously not that good because it looks so obvious that he should just swing the feet through. But he obviously doesn't feel he's able to.
Well, it looks like it's blocked between the dihedral there, and the top of it does slant up. So they really do need to get the crack in between. And in my opinion, I think they need to walk over those other volumes and then kick their left foot out next to the finish hold and then go for the match. A little bit more patience, I think, is required there.
Jan Hoyer and Fanny Gibert out on the stage gives you some idea of the caliber of competition in modern bouldering when Jan Hoyer and Fanny Gibert are coming out 4th in the semi-final. Fanny 2nd in Munich, 2nd overall right now. Still waiting for that elusive World Cup win. Surely it has to come. Here's Jan Hoyer. He's won before here in Vail. He makes no secret of the fact that this is one of, if not his favourite World Cup. He's been hanging out in Boulder, Colorado, a couple of hours away from here for the past few weeks, and he's trying a slightly different method on this move over towards the zone. Getting himself slightly tangled up.
Looks like he's got the zone there. Very good.
So Sean was really clever with the feet here. The way he got it made this move look quite easy. That was kind of the method, along the same lines as the method Sean used. This is Fanny Gibert, who's looking pretty close on the top here on number 1. She's coming out much earlier than we're used to in this semi-final, and she is definitely gunning for a place in the final. She could be about to get a semi-final off to a dream start with only 1 minute 40 elapsed. Fanny Gibert tops the women's 1. That's the first top of this semi-final on the women's side. Sean McCall's looking pretty close over on men's 2 as Fanny Gibert collects her scorecard and a very welcome extra 3 minutes rest. Here's Sean, the foot just slipped, and you could see him trying to use that tiny, tiny hole for the right foot.
Little frustrated yell out of Sean there. I think he knows he can get that, and probably should have gotten it there. Maybe a little bit more patience was required, but I think he can get it on this next round.
For sure, it's the least burly of the men's boulders at number 2, but there's still quite a lot of tension required. You're still actually working surprisingly hard to keep your feet on. You can see Sean actually, he's only a couple of meters away from us, breathing pretty hard, even though this is on paper a slab. As I say, it's requires a little more exertion than you might think. Laura Rigora was struggling with the start of women's 2, but she's underway now. Here she goes. I don't think she'll be able to attempt the method we saw from Alison Vest with the stab out to the zone from there. I think this is a very dynamic method.
Oh
she
my
is
goodness,
going for the
she
stab
did
out
it.
to the zone.
And with that, she'll have the zone. Wow.
Yes, that is why you do yoga. I was just looking at the length of Laura Rigora and the length of that gap and just thinking, no way.
Right? Yeah.
Next thing she does it. Amazing. So zone safely secured.
And Sean seems to be going with the real intended beta there. Seems to be working for him.
Let's just stick with Laura. She's on the zone. You can see the next blue volume is actually the last one before the top volume. So Laura making a pretty good fist of this boulder. Reaches round. That's all there is for it. And she's opted not to use that screw on. All 3 climbers on the wall. I think we might have seen the top on men's 1, but we'll stick with Laura for now because she's got herself in a really nice body position. She's really worked this boulder out. She's made progress from her first attempt onward, she was struggling with the start, then she struggled with the next move, and it's just got better and better. The beep sounds to signify 1 minute to go. They can see the top. You can't come at it with too much speed. You need to be in control, so she's got to find a way to work herself a bit closer. You can pop up to it, but if you really jump, it's hard to hold on to. I think that's what she might be lining up for. Sean McCall tops men's 2. We'll watch that again in a second. Here goes Laura Gora. She's been on this boulder a long time.
There it is. Perfect.
And there's the reward. Great work from Laura Gora. She was on that boulder for a long time and just figured it out, move by move, movement by movement. Nice
really
work.
Really technical. Very, very technical climber. Oh my goodness, Jan.
And there is Jan Hoyer making the use of his 15-meter long arms.
Yeah, that was insane. Oh my goodness.
You know,
and I'm not sure if maybe that was at the route setters or what, but
surely the
wow.
only person that can reach that. I'm just trying to think who's coming out later. I don't think anybody else can.
That honestly didn't even look like an option for me. Like,
that was Sean McCall topping number 2. So it looks even at this early stage like you're going to need to get number 2 done on the men's side. Natalia Grossman and Sam McQueen of the US come out.
That's right.
This is Sam's first World Cup. Natalia Grossman, second semi-final of the year for her, 17th in Moscow, back in April. Alison Vest out on number 3. Artur, who topped number 2, is out on men's 3. It's Burley from here on out for the men. Alex Megos, the latest to try his luck on men's 2. So it's all Germany over on the left, it's all America in the middle. Alex just cut loose, did well to hang on to that there on men's 2. Hannah Moore trying something completely different on women's 2. So Alex already secured the zone. He was really close twice on number 1. Just slips on that step across. As I said, as we look at men's 2, we were wondering, we were speculating whether you could go from the start hold up to that triangular volume and then step out to the pentagon on the right. I don't think there's much to be gained from it, but just something to keep an eye on if someone's struggling and they've got 30 seconds left and they try a bit of a Hail Mary method.
Exactly, a little bit of a desperate attempt at that point, but it could work. So, I mean, it's less moves, and it does get them to the zone a little quicker.
Hannah Moore crossing through, did well there as the right leg swung out. Alex Megos again cutting loose on that initial move on men's 2. Second time he's been across to the zone, so this was the move he struggled with. There is a tiny, tiny jib for your foot, which he's just put his right foot on there.
And there we go.
This looks a little more solid from Alex, but this move around the volume is awkward. You've just got to get your hips around the volume, as you can see, and then get them back in as fast as you can.
Exactly, and it looks like he's accomplished that. As long as he can calm down just a little and keep his composure, keep the feet on, I think he'll be fine to get a top here.
Maybe about to see 2 tops from Team Germany here. It looks like it could be Alex Megos first.
There we go.
Smoothly does it. Top for him on number 2. Hannah Moore gets the heel hook on women's 2. Lining it up. Goes dynamically, but not too dynamically, and there it is.
I think the trick with that dynamic movement is just making sure that your right hip doesn't cross over that foot, and as long as you keep it there, should be okay. You should be able to keep the tension to get that final hold.
First chance to have a look at Sam McQueen.
I've seen Sam at a bunch of comps, actually, in the American Bouldering Series and recently at CCS Nationals. He's been cleaning up. Very, very strong.
Here goes Natalia Grossman gunning for her first World Cup final. The Americans would love a finalist
They
here.
would love to see that, I know it.
We had Kyra last year, we had Alex Puccio winning it last year.
Yeah.
Alex Johnson won it in 2008. Makes you realize how long
A long time ago.
IFSC's been coming to Vail.
Yeah, about to say, that's around my first time as well.
So again, these fairly physical early moves haven't been causing any problems really so far. Pretty much everyone's been across to the zone pretty quickly.
And Sam is a very physical climber. He can really keep the tension on a lot of these boulders. If he can keep that thumb like on that jib over on the next volume, I think we might be able to see another top there, but he does need to figure that out.
This is Artur just only really on the start of men's 3. There was a cheer there, I think, for Alison Vest, who's done the tough move up to the zone on women's 3. We haven't seen much of the boulder so far. Here she goes. Yeah, the move up to the zone is hard, and then the move off it is hard. That one there. Now, what you want to do now is get your right hand out, and you've got to stab it onto that next volume right at the top of your screen.
And Natalia sticks the crimp on that other volume. Come on, Natalia.
Natalia's got to hang on there here. This boulder has been top 3 times already.
A little too much action on that little crimp over there. She's not going to get that, but very solid attempt.
Yeah, if you look at the scores, by the way, we've got Laura Agora having top number 1. I'm pretty sure that's incorrect. Tomoaki Takata makes his way out. Jane Kim begins her Vail World Cup. More World Cup wins than anyone in climbing history, Jane Kim. Just the 29, 28 in lead and 1 in boulder. That you would have to say may have an asterisk near it now with Janja Garnbret closing in. But Jane, still 5 World Cup wins clear of Janja. Tomoaki now. Real character. On the Team Japan. They had an excellent day in the qualifiers yesterday. I released Tomoaki just on that move up the zone. Fanny Gibert, by her stratospheric standards, not a great day yesterday, with work to do in this semi-final, but she got the flash on number 1. I think this is her first attempt on number 2. Only a minute elapsed, perhaps second attempt, but yeah, flash on number 1 seems to be going well. Already secured the zone on number 2. Sean McCall going well. Sean McCall going well over on number 3. But let's stick with Fanny. We've got Jan Hoyer as well on the right there on men's 2.
Oh, and Fanny will just barely get that volume. Amazing.
Got a top from Sean McCall on number 3. Well, we'll see that in just a second. For now, though, Fanny Gibert, a bit like Hannah Moole and Laura Agora before her, just
I doubt
slowly figuring out the movements.
Too much trouble with this one. I think she's experienced enough to know where her hips ought to be going. Ooh.
It just went up. You've got to go dynamically, but not too much, but that wasn't quite enough from Fanny. It looked like she was just short that time. Jan levering his way around that boulder.
Yeah, that attempt from Fanny, it looked like she just really kicked that left foot out a little too much.
Right, let's have a look at Sean here on number 3. That's what 20 years of training does for you. It's
wow.
A really nice method. And then through those 2 moves through the white volumes, not the toughest, and that was him on the last move. There we go.
That was a very, very clean run from Sean.
Very impressive stuff. Sean only the second climber to attempt it, so we'll see where that puts him. 2:20 left in this rotation. Jane Kim, as yet, no top on number 1. And Laura Agora's score has been updated, by the way. That was a scoring error. She didn't top number 1, so got the zone, but no top. We're now watching her on number 3 and Jane Kim on the left of your screen on number 1. As you would expect, smooth as you like, but I was about to say perhaps got herself in the wrong order there.
Yeah, they're being a little cautious on that second crimp, like right before the zone. And it just seems like it's a little worse than expected. A lot of people are like really jumping for it, missing, and then once they get to the zone, they seem really comfortable. But all right.
Oh, classic Jane Kim. Hung on to it. Somehow matched. Definitely could do with getting the feet back on. Now, is she closing in on the top here?
Looks very comfortable. Just taking her time.
This is familiar terrain for Jane Kim. Taking a nice long rest on some pretty poor hold. Fanny Gilbert's just top number 2 right in front of us. We'll stick with Jane Kim for now, who's looking pretty good on women's 1. Drops back down for another rest. Plenty of experience. She's choosing to take the long rest. I think she knows that even if she had time for another go energy-wise, at this altitude, this is probably it for her, so she needs to make this one count. Pops up again with the right hand.
There it goes.
Now she'll go out with the right foot. She needs to get the left hand on so that she can then lever across to the top.
Oh goodness, that right foot is not great. Hopefully she can keep it to make this next move. And there it is.
Even with endurance as good as Jane Kim's, that starts to get tiring quickly, but she figured it out in time, and that's the top for her.
With 22 seconds to spare.
Laura Agora on number 3. This is a hard move up to the zone. Hung on to it. 10 seconds now. Time really the big problem. Needs to get her left hand where her right hand is. And I just saw Jan Hoyer coming down from NEMS 2. I don't know if it was from the top. I just saw him land. We'll see as the scores come through. Let's have a look. I think this was Fanny successfully topping number 2, which I mentioned earlier. And there it is.
Looks like she used that left foot a little bit, kicking out there. It kept her in the wall.
It was a top from Jan Hoyer. 5th attempt. Got it done. So 2 tops from him on the first 2 boulders. He's the only climber to have topped both of the first 2. Margot Hayes gets underway. And Jongwon Chon, former Vail winner, always seems to go well here in Colorado. He's off on number 1, and really, actually the first climber to struggle with those lower volumes.
Yeah. No, I haven't. Most people have been like really sticking that and looked like a lot of control, but that's a little bit surprising coming from Jongwon. I do believe he'll bring it together though. He usually does.
Alison Vest now is on women's 4, which is a pretty horrible looking boulder. It's you just got to squeeze that zone. I gotta say,
this one looks like a lot of fun to me. It
looks fun to climb, but it looks exhausting.
Yes.
It's a really nice boulder to stand up, jump across, job done, mantle up. But the mantle looks so physical.
You really got to
hug it.
Exactly. Exactly. Just squeeze it the entire time until you can get that balance on the foot. And it looks like we might get a top from Sam if he can keep the tension. And good for you, Sam.
Yeah,
awesome.
Went slightly quicker to the top than some of the climbers we've seen who've crept up, but it looked like he was really accurate, got that right hand perfect. So there goes Alison. Let's jump across, and then as I say, the horrible bit looks like hugging that volume. Let's keep an eye on Jongwon Chon. I'm surely no one else is big enough to do that Jan Hoyer method. He just skipped the top half out.
That was amazing. I'm gonna have to talk to him about that a little later. Like, man, that was just crazy.
Yeah, really, Jan? Really?
Yeah. And Natalia kicking out to the zone volume, very good, and she'll have control of that.
There's a top from Alex Megos on number 3, so I think that boulder's going to see some traffic. 2 out of 3 climbers who've attempted it so far have topped it. Let's stick with Natalia Grossman.
Just trying to make her way through them Dultex feet. Really tough.
Yeah, this method we're seeing Natalia trying, this was how the route setters were doing it, where you kind of roll over to the zone. But we've seen quite a few climbers just sticking the right foot out and going straight to it. Natalia getting
very nice.
Getting plenty of encouragement from the crowd. It's such a slow boulder, this one. All the other climbers still down on the mats. This is a completely different method altogether. It does not look a particularly comfortable position.
But now that she has it, I think she can definitely get her hip off of that volume and do some work. There we go.
So different method, left hand underneath her and pressed up onto it. Eyeing the top hold. So there is that tiny kind of screw on. Putting the left foot behind you, whilst it might look logical from this angle, actually isn't super secure. It might just give you enough, but she doesn't need it. Top for Natalia Grossman. Well, looks like on both the men's and women's side, you're going to need to get the second one done. This was Alex Megos topping number 3. And again, I think on the men's side, you'll need to get number 3 done. This is Jongwon Chon. Alison Vest is having a really good go on this number 4. This is the move that looks absolutely desperate at altitude. It's. We'll talk more in a second. We'll just follow Jongwon Chon. He's looking smooth here.
And you can even see on her wrist that volume is definitely biting back. Got a little bit of a rash going on there.
There goes Chon. Top for him. I said he always goes well in Colorado. And he's found a top on number 1. He had to work for it.
Yeah, no, he definitely ignored that thumb a little bit earlier. I think that cost him, but used it this time and it paid off.
I think time-wise, that's it for Alison Vest. She safely secures the zone. So that is 3 zones for her, but sadly no top. And I think that's going to be it for this rotation. Arto, by the way, who we've barely seen on number 4, is going well, but he's always going to run out of time. Just left it a little bit too late. Kokoro Fuji gets his semi-final underway. Ditto Afra Hernig. We were in her hometown of Munich 3 weeks ago. Now we are in the mountains of Colorado in Vail. Laura Rigora on the right, next to try a luck on number 4. Sean McColl trying men's 4. We saw him topping number 3 and number 2. Jan Hoyer has had the perfect start to the semi-final. 2 boulders, 2 tops. He's on number 3. I actually I stopped for a coffee, walk into the venue today.
Yeah?
Jan Hoyer was in there. And apparently he drinks a cortado when he's in Colorado.
Really? Is that so?
It's like a cappuccino with a double shot and less milk. And if I hadn't already ordered, I would have ordered one to see if it worked for me as well.
I gotta say, I'm kind of the opposite. I got a real bad sweet tooth. Yeah. Mochas all day for me.
Well, whatever he was drinking this morning, it seems to be working. He's stormed into the semi-final. He absolutely loves climbing here, always has done. Sean McColl going well. You just saw his legs swing into the shot there on number 4. Hopefully we can have a look at that. Sean really close on number 4. Jan really close on number 3. Let's see if we can go and see them. There they are.
And there we go. Maybe we see 2 tops here. We got one from Jan. He's just hanging out. Gonna watch Sean for a bit.
And a top from Sean McColl. So 3 tops from him in the semi-final.
You know, it was a bit of a slow start for both of these climbers, but they're finishing out really strong here.
That's the second time Sean swung round to face the crowd. This is Afra Hernig on number 1. So we saw Jane Kim getting hit. Doesn't have a chalk bag with her, and interestingly Jane Kim was taking quite a long rest there and chalking up. Tomoaki Takata, the latest to try his luck on men's 2, creeping right. The stage full now, as it will be for the next hour and a half or so.
Very good, keeping his hips in.
Now, interestingly, using the left-hand side, because as I say, there we go. Just below his right hand is a tiny jib, just for the right foot, and brings it home easily. Dual texture, those volumes. The white bit essentially useless, so you can't really pinch the outside of the volumes. You are kind of committed to sticking to the inside of them.
Exactly.
Here goes Fanny Gibert, top both of the first 2 boulders. Flashed the first one, got the second one on her second go, and that is a hard move up to the zone. The zone's reasonably positive. It's more the fact that you're coming at it so dynamically and the feet are firing out. The hole itself is just, it's not too bad. It's how you're getting there that's the problem.
Right, the angle doesn't really help, and then on top of that, the 2 blue pills right underneath it are not good at that angle. They're really, really bad. And you're pressing off of a little dual tech on the volume underneath it, so just nothing about that situation screams, positivity.
Kokoro Fuji, one of the climbers, might be tall enough to try the Jan method. I think the trick actually is thinking of it.
Exactly, because I did not see anyone doing that
I'm
at all.
pretty sure no one saw that one coming. But Kokoro, if anyone was big enough to try it, Kokoro might be one of them.
Yeah.
Certainly won't be many. So Fanny Gibert now on women's 3. This boulder yet to see a top, and that's another tough move firing out to the right. Now you've got to leave around. And from here, you'd expect it to bring it home. The top is pretty good. And Fanny Gibert makes it 3 tops from 3 boulders in the semi-final. Whatever was happening yesterday that just took the edge off it,
Yep.
She seems to have it back today.
Just shaking it off. You know, and sometimes that's all you need. You know, you just need to get to the next day, and then everything can click, depending on the boulders you get.
1 minute left for Afra Hennig. Jane Kim really struggling with the start on women's 2. She's right in front of us. Here's Laura Agora. Now, interestingly enough, she's got her left heel on that tiny little red hold.
That's right.
Chris Danielson, who was chief route setter in Munich, but he's not chief here in USA because he is American. You can't be the chief in your home country.
That's right.
He was saying if you can, it's actually slightly easier to bring your foot closer to the edge of the volume and kind of use that for your toe. But Laura's made it work.
I see that there's just, like for the last move, absolutely. Like you definitely want your toe on there instead, and that's what she's gone on and done. And it paid off. And yeah, but I think the heel was actually the better method because there's a lot of room to keep bringing your toe down and to bring your hips over onto the volume. And I think that's what you really need is to bring your hips in, and the heel really accomplishes that.
Yeah, I was surprised he thought that was easier, but they certainly know these boulders pretty well. We'll see what method was used. The heel and then swapping for the toe seemed to work well for Laura. Mao Nakamura and Matt Fultz getting underway. Charlie Bosco and Ahmed Torre here in Vail. The sun is shining in Colorado. There's some clouds in the sky. Temperature perfect for climbing. We're both sitting here with a jacket on. It's cool. There's a bit of breeze. Conditions absolutely superb.
And the sun's out of the way. It's really hitting the crowd there, but you know, so they're probably feeling a little toastier than us. But
yeah, you get sunburned pretty quickly here in Colorado, but we're just tucked in under the shade.
All right.
So Mao Nakamura, latest to try this. You will not be surprised to hear that several of her compatriots still to come in this semi-final. Natsuki Tani, Futaba Ito, Miho Nanaka and Akio Noguchi still to make their way out from Team Japan on the women's side. Ditto on the men. We had a good day yesterday. 9 men through to this semi-final. Matt Fultz, second World Cup for him, first semi-final. Went really well, almost made it into the top half of the semi-final. Had an excellent day in the qualifiers.
It's an interesting way of doing that, Beta. Hope he figures out to get the match up top. And we got John Wong over here.
Margot Hayes contemplating the stab out method. You can't help but wince slightly.
That's interesting. She's doing it a little differently, though, off the volume instead of the dual tech.
because the problem is then you can't get the foot free.
Yep. But it looks like she's figured that out. Yep.
Top from Jongwon Chon on number 2. You're going to need to get that one. I'm pretty sure of that. Gives us the thumbs up. Collects his scorecard and heads backstage. And Margot going for the slightly more traditional method now. So ideally you'd bring your left foot through. The problem is obviously you've got your right leg in the way. Nicely done from Margot.
Very clean.
And she wants to kind of free up that right hand so that she can get her right foot in place. That's a really technical way of doing the move, but worked to treat.
And Natalia's over there making it work.
On number 3, doesn't quite get it. We'll stick with Margot Hayes because I think she's close here on number 2.
I wonder if she'll use that volume or actually just kick up and do it slightly dynamically.
Most people have gone slightly dynamically, haven't they? We haven't really seen anyone creep up to it.
Natalia was the only one to actually do that. She used the bottom of that big black volume and worked out for her, but the dynamic Beta is going to work out for Margot.
And it's 2 tops for Team USA in the space of 5 seconds.
Yeah. All right. Congratulations, Sam. Hopefully we can get a look at that here in a bit.
Yeah, Sam McQueen getting it done.
See, and now so we got the toe here, and it's just hard to bring the knee up and allow your hips to go in any further. So it's definitely can be done, but now you see her knee is kind of in the way.
Yeah, it's one of the...
But now that she's got her hips in, I think it'll work out. She's got it.
It's awkward, but it's also super technical.
Yeah.
And it's a top. So plenty of tops coming in this semi-final.
Yeah.
Quite a contrast to Munich. We had 5 tops in the women's semi-final and 4 of them belonged to Janja Garnbret, so it's a bit of a change here in Vale.
That was insane to watch. That was absolutely crazy to watch.
I think in the long story of amazing Janja Garnbret days, that was maybe the most amazing of all.
That's going to stick for a while, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Let's have a look at Matt Fultz. As I say, first semi-final for him.
It looks like he figured out getting to the zone.
A couple of tops already for Team USA on this rotation. I think if he caught that thumb catch, he could have been in business.
I agree, and I think it looked like a little bit of a last-minute decision there, and so that's why he didn't get it. But that is okay. Fultz had a very good showing there.
Mao Nakamura not finding a way on number 1. Alex Megos not finding a way on number 4. We saw Sean McCall top that one. Alex shakes his head. We didn't see much of him. I wonder if he perhaps found the method a bit late.
Yeah. He's looking a bit fatigued. I think the altitude might be getting to him a little bit.
Sean Bailey and Kyra Condi, members of Team USA, just keep on coming. Kyra was in the final here last year. No final for her so far in 2019. Came across to Munich. Bit of a last-minute decision. It just didn't quite work out, but she has the opportunity to make amends here in Colorado.
That's right.
For us, it's quite chilly, but she hails from Minnesota. This is, even in the shade, this is about as hot as it gets.
This is fine for her. This is fine for her. Very comfortable weather for Kyra.
She was telling me about the Minneapolis winter. It does not sound especially appealing.
It's a northern thing for sure.
There's certainly nothing keeping you outside. You're going to be in the gym, that's for sure.
And Kyra,
good start on number 1.
She is one of the fastest boulders that I know. Like, she just moves.
Yeah, she's not messing around here.
Yeah,
she
hardly ever does.
Needs to get the right foot out, and she's going to do it a bit later. Yeah, so we've seen most climbers get the right foot out, then leave her onto it. Kyra looked like she was going to swing it out.
I saw her kind of look down at that the crimp that she was holding before, and I think she was looking at putting her foot there. Then last second, I think she saw the right foot and realized that was the beta.
We had a top there from Tomoaki Takata on number 3. That one's seeing plenty of traffic. I think to stand a chance of getting in this final, you're definitely going to need to get 2 and 3 done.
And Sean Bailey making work.
Yeah, Sean
on
Bailey.
Pop number 1, along with Fanny.
Picked up a podium here last year in Vale, Sean Bailey.
Yes, he did.
Behind Ray Sugimoto, who's here in Vale, but he didn't make it through to the semi-finals. And Fanny Gibert, I think, is closing in on the sweep of boulders. That's 4 from her, one she can match. So looking down, nobody else has got more than 2 on the women's side. I would be amazed if that wasn't enough for Fanny Gibert. Jan Hoyer not quite finding a way on number 4. He's got 3 from 3 so far. Sean McCall, 3 tops and 4 zones. Could well be enough for a place in the final.
I think Kyra, I think she believes she's got this boulder. Just taking her time a little bit. Just making sure that this next attempt really counts.
Afra Hernig on the left there on women's 2. Kokora Fuji. It's a lot of limb to fit in between those volumes, but Kokora not struggling too much. And there we go. We'll be in his home city for the World Championships in 2 months' time over in Tokyo. For now, he finds the top on number 2, Afra. Working hard on women's 2 again. You're going to need to get this one done if you'd like to take one of those 6 spots in the final.
I've been seeing a lot of different methods here with the zone volume and getting your foot on it. And it just seems like you're really getting your hips in, or you're just getting your knee on it. While that's a little unconventional, it does seem that to be working to get to the next volume. A little bit of a miss there.
Yeah. So here goes Kyra again. Absolutely powering through these crimps. There is a limit even to her power.
Yep.
There's Jan Hoyer. Same method we saw from Sean McCall. having to work here. This is the fourth boulder of what's been a physical set. Jan's done pretty well to minimise the amount of time he spent climbing. Gets that right foot out. One more move for Jan Hoyer to make it 4 from 4. He loves climbing here in Colorado, and he's having a good 2019. 4 from 4 for him. He's the first climber with 4 tops. Sean McCall's got 3, nobody else has got more than 2, so again, you'd have thought Jan should have secured his place in the final. Took him 11 attempts, so if there are a lot of tops later on, that could come back to haunt him, but I think Jan Hoyer's probably done enough with clean sweep. 4 from 4 in 11 attempts for Jan. Great semi-final. Jane Kim on the right, Kyra Conley on the left. We saw her stick this move earlier. This time she's a little more control, managed to keep the left hand on. Time-wise, this is going to be it for Kyra. Getting plenty of encouragement. We've got a big crowd here in Vail. They're beginning to fill the field behind us, and they're all cheering for Kyra Conley.
There we go, and she's figuring out that beta.
She's got 15 seconds to go. And stabbed for the top hole, but couldn't quite hang on to it. Maybe thought she was a little more pushed for time than she was.
I think so. I think she rushed just a tad bit, maybe hearing the crowd or something like that, and it kind of got to her a little bit. But yeah, getting that drop knee instead of pulling with the toe, I think cost her a little bit there, and just cost her the top. Hopefully she makes it up for the other 3 boulders.
Natsuki Tani gets her semi-final underway. Ray Kawamata is underway on men's 1. Again, stage absolutely full, and it's it's really all USA and Japan. It's just Jongwon Chon of South Korea. We've got no less than 4 members of Team USA currently on the stage, 3 members of Team Japan, with Jongwon Chon. There he is on number 3. There's Ray Kawamata over on the right. Familiar name if you watch our IFSC Youth World Championship coverage. Just having a look at the scores. Jan Hoyer, 4 tops for him. Sean McCall, 3 tops, 4 zones. Alex Megos, 2 tops, 4 zones.
Wow, what an impressive dynamic move going to that volume. And he'll clinch the zone with that.
Here's Jongwon Chon, like Jan Hoyer, always seems to enjoy coming to Colorado and always seems to climb well. Won here in 2017. It was actually his win here and his win in Mumbai was the last time we had the same person winning back-to-back World Cups on the men's side.
Oh,
That's
wow.
how tight the competition's been. So it's been 2 years since we had someone win 2 competitions in a row on the men's bouldering. There's Jongwon Chon. And we're not going to have it here in Vail because the winner from Munich, Jakob Schubert, has not made the trip over to Colorado.
And Natalia is getting through that volume section on number 4. It looks painfully awkward. I
mean, this would be a hard boulder to climb at sea level, but that kind of squirming, squeezing, full body climbing is absolutely brutal at this altitude. You really do feel it.
I do believe she used the heel hook method. I'd like to see that again before switching it to the toe. But now that she does have that toe on there, it should be pretty comfortable just to stand up if she can get her hips in.
If you're wondering why she isn't just standing up, it's a slightly overhanging that wall, so it is slightly pushing you off, but she should, you'd imagine, be able to do it from here. She can touch any part of that top hole with both hands, so she could, if she wanted, just reach up and push her fingertips against the bottom, but I think you need to commit and use it slightly.
Yeah, and I think her leg is actually just fatigued at this point. There it is, yeah, a little bit stronger on the right, and she's just going to keep her knee there. And
just got to keep yourself close into the wall, or the angle will spit you off. There it is.
Proceed on the side of caution. Very good.
Yeah, it took her a while to figure it out, but it was time well spent. Ray Kawamata's looking pretty handy on number 1. Couldn't quite figure out how to free his left foot. Matt Fultz.
Little slip of the left foot, and yeah, that'll be it for Fultz there, but still got time for another attempt there.
Interestingly, all 8 climbers who'd attempted this boulder before Matt had topped it. So, as I say, you'll definitely need to get that one done. Now Nakamura on women's 2. Kyra Kondo will be out to attempt this one next. The breeze really picking up here in Vale. She just misses that top hole. She went just past it.
Yeah, didn't quite bring her hits in enough to get that little bit of hang time she needed.
Well, yeah, wind really beginning to pick up here in Vale. You can see
yeah.
the judges' hair blowing. It's frankly cold in the shade. Conditions are superb for climbing, not so much for sitting around talking about it.
Hopefully, you know what? I'm just so excited right now. That's warming me up. That's warming.
Yeah, first time this weekend I've been envious of people in the full glare of the sun. But as I say, conditions on the wall will be absolutely excellent. Wall well covered, and it doesn't get any sun all day. This is Margot Hayes on number 3.
Yeah, she really kind of needs to move her foot a little bit over to the right so she can rock over for the next move. And I'm hoping she makes a little adjustment there.
Time the factor here. So you mean that with that right foot there, you're getting too compressed?
I think that she's getting a little too compressed, and then moving off here, this block's hold. Exactly, foot just comes right off, and you can't have that knee bar if you're going to come in with the right hand into that next hold.
Matt Fultz beats the buzzer. Top for him. That's all 9 climbers who've been on it. Top it.
Very clutch. He needed that. Very good.
Yeah, he wasn't on the top hold long, but he was there long enough.
Yeah,
Judges
just long
awarded
enough.
It. Yeah. Futaba Ito now, and Yannick Floe. Yannick's compatriot Jan Hoyer currently leads the standings in the semi-finals. 4 tops in 11 attempts. Charlie Bosco and Ahmed Touré here in Vale. The sun is shining. The breeze is blowing. Conditions on the wall absolutely fantastic. Big crowd watching. Where else would you rather be on a Saturday morning?
It really doesn't get much better than this. No.
Here's Kokoro on number 3. Will he find the rotate method? No, he's just campusing. As I say, we're off to Tokyo in a couple of months' time.
Oh my goodness. I know those 360 holds are not great. They're not great.
They're not nearly as good as he's making them look,
No.
that's for sure. Tomoaki Takata on the right-hand side of your screen on number 4.
Well, wow. I did not think anybody was going to go with that beta there, but on men's 3, we got the piano match and a little bump action going on. All right. Nice.
Quite an awkward way to use the right hand as
Yeah.
well, almost like doing a bicep curl.
Yeah, it was a little awkward, but it seems to have paid off.
So what can Kokoro do here? Ooh, should be looking good for a top. Top
Very
hold's pretty
nice.
good. Just got to be careful you don't kick outside the black tape. You're not allowed to use anything beyond that black tape on the right-hand edge of that boulder. But no problem for Kokoro. Gets the job done. All USA over on the left-hand side of the wall. There's Kyra on the left. Last year's silver medalist Sean Bailey on the right.
I was just actually hanging out with both of these two the other night, and they're looking, they're feeling really strong. They looked, they were talking about just the round the previous day and just how comfortable they're feeling and how psyched they are to just really even be here. So I think they're really going to put it out for the crowd here and, try and rep the U.S. as best they can.
Kyra looked just short on that one.
Just a little.
You got to go with a bit of momentum, not too much, not too little.
Exactly.
Just too little, I think, from Kyra. 10th top from 10 there on men's 2. I have to say, I thought that boulder would cause a few more problems than it has done. But I think there's certainly a good chance that everyone's going to top that one. Everyone has done so far of the 10 climbers we've seen, and of course, theoretically, with the climbers coming in reverse order to how they qualified, we should have the stronger climbers coming next. Generally not the way it pans out, but
and it's interesting that it's this boulder too, the slab boulder. And it's technical. People are slipping on it. It's and it's not for like a lack of strength or anything. It's just a matter of focus and patience. So like that, it's really going to go to the smarter climber there, and probably go to attempts on that one.
Speaking of strong climbers, Yannick Floe is not lacking in horsepower. He's saved it up to the zone on number 1. Jane Kim is on women's 4. It'd be interesting to watch her on the big compression
Oh,
move.
wow.
She's struggling with the jump as it stands. Top from Kyra on number 2, just cut back in time to see that. Nothing from Yannick Floe. Futaba Ito is going well on women's 1. Here she is. incredible flexibility there. Somehow managed to get her right foot
Oh,
almost
wow.
to the foothold you need for the top. That was interesting. She had the right idea. She had the right foot out wide and then brought
Yeah.
it back. Would have thought she'd be better to leave it where it was.
I agree. I think even if she did like actually touch the hold, the tension would just be in really opposite directions, and she'd just want to kick her foot out anyway.
This is Tomoaki Takata. Popping up to the zone. He is such a character, Tomoaki Takata. Becoming increasingly prominent, regularly featuring at the business end of World Cups. But yeah, what a character.
Ooh, wow. That was an impressive effort by Jane Kim. That was a little crazy. I think that rocked her just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, she's had some pretty big impacts. Afra Hernig just falling again on number 3. She's not going to get it done. I think time-wise, Futaba Ito's not going to get number 1 done yet. So nothing for Tomoaki. Yeah, I was saying what a character is. We saw him in downtown Chongqing
Oh, right.
about 6 weeks ago, and he was recommending his favorite hot pot place and
Really?
and all the specialities. He's just yeah, I don't think him and I share the same taste in hot pots. We followed his recommendation. It was pretty spicy.
Oh, you're not a spicy fan?
Well, I
Yeah.
am, but I mean, I can still taste this thing.
Okay,
It
all
was
right.
6 weeks ago. So I think I'm a spicy guy. Tomoaki
Yeah.
Takata, I think, is next level though. So.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you're talking to a Texan here. We're quite partial to the spicy things.
Well, as I say, I thought I was, but I got schooled by Tomoaki Takata in Chongqing.
I'll have to try some. See if it meets the Texas standard.
Yeah, you need to wear your big boy trousers, that's for sure. Rei Kawamata now on number 2. And Natsuki Tani just struggling with the start of women's 2. It's not the easiest start, particularly if you're a bit shorter, which she is. You've got to take a run at it. And Rei's got himself slightly tied in knots here. Yeah, does well to free his arms up. One of those positions where you just get yourself in a bit of trouble, but he's found a way out of it. And finds a top. Yeah,
Easy
I think
top there.
I would bet now that we're going to see every climber top that men's number 2. Everyone so far has topped it, and when you look at who's still to come, I'd be surprised if anybody didn't do it. Nathaniel Coleman just had a good stab at number 1.
Got pretty far, got to the zone there.
Alma Besvarta, number 1, getting her semi-final underway. Yeah, a bit like we saw Laura Agora do something similar there, really using all the volume.
Exactly, yeah.
Instead of going up more dynamically. Is Jeongwon Chom. Doesn't feel like we've seen that much of him actually in this semi-final, but this will be 4 tops from 4 boulders if he can find a way. We've seen all his tops, but it's just one of those climbers I feel like we've slightly lost track of.
Nice.
does
Oh,
well to hang on.
amazing.
4 from
Just
4 for
peeling
Jeongwon
in.
Chom.
Just peeling in on that barn door, too. Wow.
And that is going to be him into first place in the rankings on attempts. He'll move ahead of Jan Hoyer. We'll just confirm exactly how many attempts it was, but he's definitely going to be less.
And bam, and yeah, that back foot just keeps him in.
I think there was a bit of showmanship in
Yeah.
that swing. He could have held that a bit easier. There's Nathaniel
Oh,
Coleman.
you got to give the people what they want.
Yes, you do. Jeongwon Chon, that was second attempt, so he does move into first place. 4 tops in just 7 attempts. Jan Hoyer in second place, 4 tops, 11 attempts. Here's Nathaniel Coleman. That is Margot Hayes over on the right. Nathaniel looking pretty solid here. He's got himself in a really good position. If he can just get his feet swapped around.
Oh, wow.
Now this is
Excuse
creative.
me. Wow, what's happening here?
Just trying to figure out what he's got in mind here. I think he's jumping from here.
Oh!
I like the theory, but you'd have to be so accurate
Yeah.
because the volume is pushed against the panel to
Exactly.
the left.
And it's really good. It's just very low percentage. Like if you hit that and you stick it, yeah, you're not coming off that thing, but you do need to actually get to the volume to make that work.
Yes, another top on number 3, Mao Nakamura. Margot Hayes getting A lot of encouragement from this crowd, which is
And-
really growing.
And let's see.
So this
Started
is the
with-
toe method we mentioned about.
Yep. Uh-huh.
And it's just
Rocking
one of those
over.
moves that just suddenly catches up on you. You suddenly realize there is no oxygen still in your lungs.
That's right.
And when
But,
you-
and you see, this is what I was thinking, though. I'm pretty sure if you start off with the heel, you can get your hip around first and then switch it to the toe.
Actually
Yeah.
shaking her legs
Wow.
out.
Yep. So right there, I think she can get the mantle a little easier. She can rock her knee a little bit further.
Oh,
But it's exhausting. Oh my goodness.
I mean, she hails from Boulder, Colorado, which is not quite as high as Vail, but she should have a little better just natural acclimatization
Yeah, a
than
little
some
bit.
climbers.
for
It's
sure.
what, 6,000? Cannot find a way, Mark. It's what, 6,000 feet Boulder compared to 8.5 in Vail, something like that. So
Yeah. It does get to you. It
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
But that was her on the jump across. Couldn't find a way of mantling up onto that volume. Really horrible move at this altitude, but fun to watch, just not that much fun to do.
That volume has been, it's out for blood. I think it's gotten some.
Julia Chanaudy gets climbing now. Taisei Ishimatsu is underway on the men's side. Julia's been going really well in the bouldering this year. We're seeing more and more athletes try all three disciplines. She's been one of the real success stories from that process.
That's right. She becoming a more like household name, even in the States, actually. You know, like Fanny is really, like, really impressive. The Moem, the Moem brothers, they're very, very impressive from the French team. But yeah, no, she's coming out and like getting recognized, and we can see why. Like, she's very impressive, very strong.
Yannick Floe on number 2. Got to get this one done. Ideally, you got to get it done quickly. His compatriot Afra Hernig is, I think, about to top women's 4, which we just watched Margot Hayes have a really good battle with. That is a top from Afra Hernig on number 4. We'll get a replay in a second.
And yes, you guys didn't see that, but she put her heel on the volume itself. Didn't even use the jib. Hopefully, we get to see that here in a bit.
Fatabarito over on the left, Yannick Floe on the right. That's a physical way of doing that. I wonder if he's not spotted the foothold. It is so small.
Yeah, I don't think he's seen it.
You could miss it. It's definitely small enough that you
Oh,
may not
okay.
see it. The
Yeah,
brusher kind of helped
right,
him out there.
right. But he wasn't quite looking, so I'm not sure. I'm not.
Yeah, this is a replay,
this
by the way, of Afra Hernig. She actually topped it with
so
lots of time remaining.
You can see, like, her heel isn't even on. It's not on the jib at all. It's not.
Yeah, you're right. She's not touching the jib at all. One of the taller climbers, so you would have expected that to be a slightly awkward move for her, but no
Yeah.
problems at all. This is Kyra back to live now. This is Kyra Conley on number 3.
All right, this is definitely a boulder Kyra can do. This is very much her style. Come on, Kyra.
This is
Come on,
really the
Kyra.
last super hard move going out right.
That's
I think
right.
Once you secure that, you should be okay.
And she's got a little time to rest and get it back just to make sure that attempt is really good.
Yeah, she's got a top on number 2, Kyra. That's had more people topping it than not. It's had 6 tops so far. Kokoro Fuji on number 4, Sean Bailey on number 3. What's Kokoro going for here? He's just having a look down at Kokoro's scores. This would be his 3rd top, so he'd have 3 tops and 4 zones if he could find a way here. That could be enough.
Kind of breezing through this. If you can keep that toe and just pull.
Cruising these moves so far.
There it goes.
Yes, safely up to the top. Really good top hold. No one's that's got a hand on that has looked like falling. So Kokoro, he'll move himself up into the top 6 as it stands. That's 3 tops, 4 zones. Jongwon Chon and Yan Hoyer currently still the only climbers with 2 tops over on the men's side. On the women's side, it's just Fanny Gibert with 4 tops. Nobody else got any more than 2. So Fanny barring a miracle, will be into the final. Kyra looking for a direct method on number 3. Here's Yannick Floe, number 2. Oof.
It's not the best sign when you throw your hands up at the boulder, but hopefully you can bring it back together. And let's see if he can find this foot this time. And it looks like he found it. All right.
I think he owes that brusher the brush is
a
only
little bit of a thank you there, yeah.
I was going to say a beer. I think the brush is only a teenager's.
I think that equates to like 2 soda pops.
Julia Shanodi not finding a way here on number 1. Ditto Kyra on number 3. Kyra will put herself in a strong position actually if she could find a way on this number 3, but this will be it.
If she can get this hold.
It looks as if the right foot's pushing her out. So
yeah.
Is that your reading of it?
That was my reading of it. Yeah, with the knee bar earlier from Margot, she wasn't like bringing her foot over the top of the hold, so she can't really rock over and get into like the good bit of that of the new the next blue pill.
We got a question on Twitter actually.
Yeah.
How many of these climbers are we expecting to try for the Olympics? I would say most of them.
Oh yeah.
It's already affecting the World Cup season. We've got people like Shauna Coxey who got the results she needed for qualifying for later stages of the season, who's just skipping the World Cup. She hasn't done any of the last 4, including Vail. And most of these climbers, the USA team, are focusing primarily on combined.
Yes, that's right. And there's been a lot of changes like going on administratively on our side. And I think that it's all very good things. I think it's really important that we all get on the same page. You know, USA Climbing, IFSC, like all of us need to be working together to bring climbing to the masses and make it fun for everyone. And I think the climbers are on the same page there. And fortunately, on the political side, things are getting better. So.
Yeah, so the not very precise answer to your question is most of them.
Most of them, yes.
Here's Alana Yip. She had a really good day in the qualifiers yesterday. It went really well. She's looked pretty strong all season. Hasn't ever quite turned it into that big result, but it kind of feels like she's a climber with a big result in her this season.
She's really gunning for it. Yeah, like you can sense her climbing with purpose.
Yeah, Keita Dohi has just started climbing over on men's 1 as well. His semi-final commenced. This is Alma Bestvater on the left, Nathaniel Coleman on the right. Alma, she got a zone on number 1. Hasn't seen many tops at all, number 1 on the women's side. Only 2 so far, Fanny Gibert and Jane Kim, who actually it was her only top. So a zone on number 1, not the end of the world for Alma. That doesn't spell disaster necessarily.
Not necessarily, no. Every zone does matter.
Yeah, as I say, it's currently only Fanny Gibert with more than 2 tops. She got all 4. Ray Kawamata there.
All right. And Mao Nakamura up on the volume, that little treacherous volume that's been messing with a whole bunch of our female athletes. All right, so she's going with the toe. Let's see if that's enough to get her through. Oh, goodness.
Well, she's not really smearing on anything there.
It kind of slipped off, and now it looks like she's going for some kind of like a little toe hook, like a toe.
Sacrificing skin for success, I think, is really the method there. It's kind of using the whole lower leg.
Oh, wow. And it looks like it's going to pay off, yeah. If she can get her toe on that foot, I think she'll get the boulder.
She's kind of à cheval, as the French would say, kind of like on a horse across that thing. She's got there.
Wow. Very unorthodox, but I think it's going to work, yeah.
Well.
And it does. I think she knows it, too.
This is Nathaniel Coleman, I think finding a top on number 2. Yes, he is. Such is the beauty of climbing, you know, that you get. Hold on, we'll talk in a second. Alma Bestvarte got a hand to the top. Yeah, such is the beauty of climbing. You get aesthetic 360 moves and showy moves.
That's right.
And then sometimes you just get a good old fight like that.
Yeah.
Like that volume.
Yeah, and she fought for that, like absolutely every second of it.
Rei Kawamata, number 3, levering his way up. Rei Kawamata, he got a flash on number 2 actually, which is a few climbers had a flash. Still an impressive attempt, just slips on the really low friction section of that huge dual texture hold. When you get standing on top of it, there ain't much there. Natsuki Tani on women's 3. Alana Yip decides against another go actually, and is heading back into isolation.
Seconds.
Yeah, surprised actually. I'm just looking. She hadn't topped it. Surprising from Alana. I thought she might give that a final go. To be honest, on those crimps though, maybe it's one of those boulders where you just feel you can't do it.
Yeah.
And don't burn any more energy.
Especially on that second one. It's just, from the way everybody's looking at it and their body language, it just looks really, really bad.
Natsuki Tani with time running out. Ditto Alma Bestvarte. Natsuki Tani didn't find a way, but Alma Bestvarte did. She topped number 2. Miho Nanaka and Tomoa Narasaki come out. Both World Cup season champions. Miho Nanaka was the reigning champion coming into this year. Of course, Janja Garnbret's taken her title off her. Tomoa Narasaki has a chance to win a second title here in Vail today. The maths not too complicated because both him and Adam Ondra have missed World Cups. There's no losing your worst score. It's a straight shootout. If Adam finishes higher than Tomoa, he wins the title. If Tomoa finishes ahead of Adam, he's got to be at least 2 places ahead of Adam. It'll get slightly more complicated, but we'll talk more about that in later on. First things first. Kyra Conley, the latest to try her luck. She's got 1 top so far in all 4 zones, Kyra. So if she could find a way, 2 tops, 4 zones, and they've not required many attempts.
Oh my goodness, Kyra. Oh wow, burling it up through that boulder.
Surely there's no way of doing it like that.
I really hope she doesn't continue doing it like that. Is all I'll say.
Very quick top from Miho Nanaka there. I think that could well have been a flash actually from her. Yeah, Kyra. I mean, wow.
Yeah, that was not the best attempt in my opinion. I think she'll find the foot though. If she does, it's definitely a boulder she can do. Yeah, she's no stranger to awkward moves and awkward body positions on the wall.
So Tomoa, yeah, he needs a big result here. As I say, the maths, not so much maths, but the ranking points, he needs 24
That's
to
right.
catch Adam. So to give you some idea, you get 100 for a win, you get 80 for second, and you get 65 for third, I think. And so if Tomoa wins, he needs Adam to be third.
That's right.
We won't go there just yet, but Tomoa could claim a title if he has a very good day and Adam has something of an off day.
Yeah, and it just gives him a little bit of breathing room, which is important and will help him later in future competitions. Come on. Oh, wow.
This is
So
Futaba Ito, number 3.
Everybody does seem to go right on that, and I'm curious if they think the top of that other of that block's hold is a little better. But I think once they get up there, they realize it's no good, and they just have to go left.
Here goes Futaba. This is
so you can see her foot like sliding over to the right, and I think she knows that's what's necessary to get the move.
yeah, it's really it's the last hard move on that boulder. Once you've got in place there, you should be okay. Kyra showing minimal regard for her shins here, but it could pay off. She's got an absolute fight on her hands. It's no lack of effort, but she just doesn't seem to be able to get the foot up. Here's Yannick Floe on number 3, just to his left there. Futaba Ito standing with her hands on her hips.
Solid. You can get that crimp and bring the foot up.
Not this time. Julia
Yeah.
Shanodi couldn't find a way on number 1. So she could do with this to get back on track. She did get a zone. Interestingly, everybody has got the zone on number 1.
She's
not
going
many
for
tops.
some pretty different beta here, trying to get a toe hook on the start hold instead of just switching her feet and rocking over. Ooh.
That looks a potentially painful way of
Yeah.
doing that move. There's a lot of stuff to hit on the way. She just needs to get her feet a bit further over, because I guess as well, even if she'd managed to make that work, it would be hard to get out of the position.
Yeah, I know if she does make that little foot switch there, that'll open up the door to get the zone at least.
Let's have a look at Futaba. 40 seconds for her to go. Oh, no
Very
problem
nice.
up for the zone. Both hands, right hand just a split second
Alright.
before the left.
And yep, and again, that foot just keeps slipping right off.
Yeah, I think she'll have another go, but I don't think she's really got time to do anything with it, sadly. His Tomoa could really do with the top on number 1. He's got himself in a good position. This looks more like it from Tomoa. He's got 15 seconds, but that should be plenty for
There
him.
it is, and now he's got it. And with the kick out, good control.
Oh, it's a big sigh of
And
relief.
Kyra just figured out the beta. Oh, come on, Kyra. Oh! Not quite. Not quite.
And that's so cruel for Kyra. She's going to finish outside the top 6. It won't be a final appearance for her
Yeah.
in Vale, and that's disappointing for her.
And again, that was not, that had nothing to do with her effort. Her effort was definitely there. She had the strength to pull it off. It was just beta.
I think, I have to say, if it's any consolation, she'd used a lot of attempts. It may not have been enough, even if she'd found a top to get in the top 6. So,
Yeah.
but it's still massively frustrating to find it right at the end of your 5 minutes on your
Oh
last
yeah,
boulder.
just that boulder alone, that's gonna, oof. It's a heartbreaker for sure. All right, and back into it.
Yeah, Luce Duardi, who we are looking forward to watching here. She won the most recent European Youth Cup in Soure in Portugal just a few weeks ago. She's 4th in the lead and 8th in the boulder in the Moscow Youth World Championship. If the name sounds familiar, I think it's going to sound increasingly familiar over the next few years.
Yeah.
A bit like Arthur Ternant, who we saw earlier on. I think the French team have got high hopes for Luce Duardi, and she is very much delivering on them. Meichi Narasaki, the second of the Narasakis, the younger of the Narasakis to attempt this boulder, is on the left of your screen, and Natsuki Tani is on the right. She's so slight. It'd be interesting to see her with this really burly fight.
Yeah, right. Yeah, up there, that's going to be really interesting to see. I wonder if that is actually helpful though in just rocking your hips over and bringing yourself in. There's not not as much weight on your feet, so they won't get it nearly as exhausted. Because I definitely saw some of our climbers like doing what I call the Elvis leg, and so it's really really physical, not just for your like forearms and your hands and everything, but your legs, they start to shake.
Yes, top again there from Keita Dohi, just looking down the results. Still, we haven't had a climber who's not managed to do men's 2. And Nathaniel Coleman getting plenty of encouragement from both the MC and the crowd. The field pretty full here in Vale. We've got a crowd of well over 1,000 looking out at them.
Wow.
And they're getting right behind him now. He's got to avoid the really dark black section of the foothold. Does it successfully, doesn't dab out to the right.
Does a little pop at the
Finds
end
a
there.
top.
Having fun with it.
Here's Alma Bestvater, number 3. She got it done with a buzzer beater on number 2. So quite a lot of tops in this semi-final so far. I think on the men's side, depending on attempts, you might just, you should probably get through with 3 tops and 4 zones if you don't use many attempts.
That's right.
4 tops will almost certainly see you through. Again, on the women's side, I'm pretty sure 3 tops will probably get you through so far. Fanny Gibert with 4 is the only climber with more than 2. Alana Yip tops number 2. Couldn't find a way on number 1. But if she could find a way on the remaining ones, could put her in a pretty strong position. Meiichi Narasaki just rotating off on number 1. Natsuki Tani, we haven't seen her too much on this boulder 4.
Yeah, haven't had a really dynamic attempt yet on that move, and it's very necessary.
Here's Rei Kawamata looking pretty good here on number 4. Rei's only got 1 top so far. He flashed the second one, but he's got all the zones so far. So 1 top, 4 zones. Could be about to come 2 tops, 4 zones. I still don't think it'll be enough.
Having a little trouble with
attempts. No. Rei not going to make it, sadly for him. Alma Besvarta and Luce Duardi. Luce Duardi with that hard move up to the crimp. And with 40 seconds to go, maybe better to save your energy, which we've seen quite a few climbers do after not liking number 1.
I would think so.
Breeze really picking up here in Vale. It is cold. Conditions are great for the climbers. Friction will be excellent, I'm sure.
As well as she is moving to that crimp, I'm a little surprised she's not sticking this move here. But it looks like she's going to give it another go. 9 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, it just runs out of time. You just wonder if maybe the difference between somebody like Luce Duardi breaking onto the World Cup scene and a more experienced competitor is, with 40 seconds to go, they think, you know what, I might just leave this one.
That's right.
And save my energy. She fought right up to the buzzer, but realistically probably didn't have time to get it done.
Yeah, picking and choosing your battles at this level is very important, especially in the semi-final round.
Here's Alex Johnson. She got a big cheer from the crowd when she came out. 2008 Vale winner. Very popular climber. It's been really enjoyable seeing her back on the World Cup scene in 2019.
I've been loving it, honestly. Like, AJ is one of the coolest people, like, in general. Like climbing, you know, she's a great climber. Better person.
Let's go. Let's go.
It's Julia Chanaudy making that tough move up to the zone. Alex Johnson, if you saw our highlights video, which we rolled at the start of this semi-final broadcast, you can also see it on YouTube. She said she enjoyed the boulders yesterday. Physical style, really got to show off her power. Something which she's not short of.
Yeah, delicate is not the word I would use for
she even said in the interview there were no slabs, which was good. Not too much volume manipulation, which was good.
Yeah, which I can tell right away on this first boulder. She's a little hesitant on these volumes. If she gets to the zone, I think she'll be just fine. But getting through these first 2 crimps is going to be a little bit weird for her.
That was Taisho Shimatsu on number 3. Julia Chanaudy's got safely up to the zone. Mihona Naka is safely up to the zone. Both her and Julia perhaps closing in on tops. Mihona looks to me, we've just lost Julia on number 3. Miho gets it done on number 2. That's 2 boulders, 2 tops for her. Actually matched at the top. Checked with the judge, it was good. Matched the second time just to make sure.
Yep.
And she is done.
And there goes Alex, yes.
So Alex safely up to and past the zone.
And I do not think this section here is going to be an issue for her. Yep, she's got the reach for the toe.
Yeah, she wasn't slowed down much by that hold. She's got her left hand on. Just struggled with the cross through.
Just a little bit more, just a tad bit more power for the cross through, and I think she's got that.
She can absolutely top this boulder though.
That's
Tomoe
right.
Narasaki would be the first climber on the men's side not to do
this,
number 2. Given the fact that he's already won a World Cup, in fact his results so far this season have been second and first, it would be a big surprise if we didn't see him in the final.
Yeah, that'd be really
weird.
Do it.
Yannick Floe out to the zone, not controlling it. So all the I'm looking along the mats, there's 5 climbers all stood there shaking out and breathing hard. That is the scene backstage. There's the world champion Kai Harada, the female world champion Yanya Gamret, and Lana Yip closest to the camera. You can see not much glamour backstage.
Not too much.
There's no
Looks like a lot of
chairs.
nerves, if I'm being totally honest. But yeah, that's No, that's ISO right before. It just goes to show you, no matter how many times you really do this, like, there's still a little bit of nerves, like, going on in the back of your head.
Well, I mean, sometimes we're in an arena and there's a nice backstage area, but we are out in the Colorado nature here. We are in a big field by Gondola 1 of Vail Ski Resort.
That's right.
And as we see a top from Taisei Shimatsu, yeah, isolation is little more, well, not the isolation, but the call zone is little more than a gazebo tent.
That's right. At least they've got a really nice view back there.
Here's Tomoa. This would be a big shock if he was not able to do this. Everybody else has done it.
Oh,
he has to do
it. Right. Does he see that other foot? Oh, wow. Okay.
He's seen it, chooses
All right.
to use it slightly differently.
And that'll work.
And finds a way. I think...
he was a little worried there, and rightfully so. He really needed that.
So Alex, having had a really good attempt at this boulder earlier on, I think time and energy-wise, this will be the last go.
Yeah. Oh, and
she's having to fight hard. The elbows are out. And needs to get this one done. She will not be able to have another attempt.
Yeah, she can recover a little bit with that right hand and get through this quick.
She needs to start moving. She's got 10 seconds to go now,
Yep,
and she doesn't find a way. And that's quite a surprise. It's a boulder you'd imagine she might have enjoyed.
Yeah, I figured if she got through that first section, the rest would be kind of chill for her. But
Akio Noguchi and Yoshiyuki Ogata. We were talking to some of the route setters earlier, and they were talking about one of the jumps in the qualifiers, and they were saying they'd attempted it maybe 70 times.
That's right. That's right.
They got it, and Yoshiyuki got it first go.
Try.
And made them all feel about an inch tall.
Yeah.
They've done it.
That's the hard thing about setting for these comps and these this high caliber, athlete. It's just, you never know. I don't know, they just had their Wheaties that morning. It's just they're so strong, and to be able to gauge that is a really, really tough job. And, our red setters, they do a very, very good job.
Charlie Moscow and Ahmed Torre here. We are really getting into the business end of this Vail semi-final. It's the last Bouldering World Cup of 2019. Little more than 2 months since we were in the snow of Meiringen. And here we are for the season finale. The women's overall title already sewn up by Janja Garnbret. But on the men's side, it's all to play for. Tomoa Narasaki and Adam Ondra gunning it. And of course, the big story on the women's side, could Janja Garnbret do the first clean sweep of a season? We shall see. She's got some very stiff competition, not least from this woman here, Akio Noguchi.
And as awesome as that would be for everyone, I don't think they're going to give it to her.
No. Akio does not attend World Cups to come second.
That's right.
For sure.
That's right.
And she's off to a good start here. And we've talked a bit about the altitude already, but really that extra 3 minutes rest is always welcome in a semi-final when you've only got 5 minutes. But at this altitude, when recovery is such a big factor and your heart rate is that much higher and every move feels that much harder, that extra 3 minutes will come in very handy for Akio.
It really becomes a part of the strategy of the comp. That's why you see climbers like Sean, taking their time before their first attempt, really getting a good look at every single hold. Because he doesn't want to fall. He doesn't want to have to try it again. Get more tired and then potentially fall on the other boulders.
Here's Alma Bestvaarter levering up onto women's 4. All things being relative, that looks like the easiest way of doing it, but there's nothing on there for your hands, so you've got to kind of pull with the right hand, palm underneath you with the left.
Trusting that heel seems to be a real big issue there, because I feel like there's room to rock forward a little bit more, but it's scary.
Meiichi Narasaki's just top men's too. I think everyone's going to top that one. Here's Nathaniel Coleman. This is men's 4.
And there goes Nathaniel.
Yeah, this will move him up into a final spot, albeit
looking for
maybe temporary, but it would move him into the final spot for now if he can find a way here. It'd be 3 tops and 4 zones from Nathaniel Coleman. He's got himself set. All that's left is to go out and last the top hold. Good work from Nathaniel Coleman. 3 tops, 4 zones, and a place in the top 6. That is going to bump out Alex Megos. And we'll see on attempts where that puts him. I think that will probably put him, actually could put him into third. We'll wait and see. Fourth it is, just below Sean McCall.
That's a pretty good position, especially for the climbers that are about to be coming out here.
Yoshiyuki Ogata wearing 107 there on number 1. He's just putting a bit of liquid chalk on. It's still actually not seen that many tops, number 1. It's seen 4 tops. Kai Harada flashed it.
Getting a little bit of rest there. Shaking it out, really wants to make sure he gets it.
Keita Dohi on number 3.
Ooh, that was some interesting beta. Not getting the left foot out there really made that a little unstable, I thought.
So Yoshiyuki Ogata, he topped his groups. Top qualifier from his group yesterday. Obviously, we've got 2 qualifying groups for the men and 2 for the women. He was top of his group, and yet with 25 seconds to go, no sign of a top now. Look bottom right of your screen. Who's that waiting to come on? Adam Ondra.
Adam Ondra.
Waiting for his turn on the Vail mats. And I
Oh,
just can't
and
find
with
the jump.
14-13, I think he could get it. Let's see if he takes the foot off. And just in the nick of time.
Nice with the beeper beater from Yoshiyuki. Gets it done. Janja Garnbret and Adam Ondra. Janja's already sewn up the season title for the bouldering this year. Adam Ondra could sew it up himself today if he finishes ahead of Tomoa Narasaki.
That's right. I've got to say, I want to see it. I definitely want to see it. Janja can do it.
Yeah, of course, a big story. Can Janja clean sweep a season? Can she win every World Cup? It could be done. It's never been done before. We should point out, meanwhile, Anna Stor got 7 from 8 one year, so it wouldn't even be the most Boulder World Cup wins in a season, but it would be the first clean sweep, the first time that anyone has ever won every Boulder World Cup, albeit there have been seasons where there have been more. But it would still be a first, and it would still be a big first. If you've got a lot of work to do. Vail is the only place where she didn't make the final.
That's right.
Her only visit here in 2017. Looking to make amends here. Adam Ondra on number 1. Nearly had the win. He could have had the overall season title sewn up here if he'd got that Boulder 4 done in Munich. Julia Chanaudy levering herself onto women's 4. This would be her first top, Julia Chanaudy, so it's not going to be another appearance in the finals for her, regardless of what happens. Tomoa Narasaki tops number 3. And the familiar fist pump from him.
Adam's using the top of that volume, which is very interesting.
Yeah, it's closed off on the right-hand side, but he can kind of get enough out of it, it would seem. Glad he took his chalk bag. He's been on this boulder quite a long time already. Yeah, Tomoa.
Wow, he's just using it in spite of the blocking. That's all right.
Janja Garnbret, by the way, fell on number 1, but is back on, and I think heading for a top. We'll stick with Adam Ondra for now, I think. Just getting his feet sorted, Adam.
Adam is one of those people I think could actually reach this with the toe or the heel over there. Oh. And nice.
Top from Adam Ondra. Semi-final off to a good start from him. Janja Garnbret has not got number 1 done yet. Just shaking out. As for the brusher, there's Adam. His semi-finals off to a good start. I'm looking over at the men's side. Big shout out to the route setters, because right now the top 6 have got 3 tops and everyone below them has got less than 3 tops. I don't know how they do this every time, but they do seem to manage it.
It's a pretty perfect spread, and that is incredibly tough to do.
Although I have to say, if Adam finds his way into the final, it will mean that somebody with 3 tops won't quite make the final, but still, shout out to them. Higgs owes Alex Johnson. She's on women's 2. These moves will be a bit trickier. She is tall, Alex, and it just means you've got more limb to fit into quite a compressed space. She'll be frustrated as well, because number 1, which you would imagine would be her style, she couldn't find a way on. She had a really good go, got to the second to last hold.
And then really it just looked like the fatigue. Again, it just got to her. here, and I know she's not the biggest fan of slab, so those dual tech feet, I mean, we could see she was just kind of avoiding them at first, but I think she's going to have to start using them.
So 2 tops and 3 zones, currently enough to get you through into the women's top 6 if it were to end right now. I think you'll need at least 2 tops, 4 zones when the final reckoning. But Janja needs a top here. Had a couple of failed attempts already on this one. And interestingly enough, if she tops this boulder, she'll be the only climber to top it but not flash it. The other 3 people who've climbed it have all flashed it.
Oh my goodness, wow.
And there's a gasp from the crowd as Janja drops that last move. She looks tired.
A little bit, yeah. I gotta say, I'm a little confused right now. Yeah. I kind of expected her to walk up that one, but I think she's doing the smart thing. She really shouldn't just go for another attempt for that one.
Yes.
I mean, she just needs to make it into the final, and I think she knows that it's not all 4. Right?
So top there on number 4, Alex Johnson getting plenty of encouragement on number 2.
Come on, Alex.
This last move should be a little easier for her. Just makes that hold a bit closer, her extra height. Let's see. Looks like she was just short, and she's not going to have time for another go. So Janja Garnbret doesn't get number 1 done.
Yeah, that's a little surprising, I won't lie. I mean, just the way that seems like something that she can do. It's not out of her style in any way. Yeah. But I think it was really smart of her to walk away from it and just focus on the next boulder.
Yeah, she walked away with 40 seconds to go. That attempt we saw from our wall-mounted camera, that we were perched right above Janja, that was her last attempt. She didn't have another go.
And she looked, and you're right, she looked tired. She ignored that right little dual tech flat sloper on the volume completely, and just felt more comfortable matching on the crimp before going out to the final hole.
So we're done with the first boulders for the men and the women. Women's 1 saw 3 tops. Men's 1 saw 6 tops. Meiichi Narasaki now on number 3. His brother Tomoa already claimed 3 tops.
Wow, that was really impressive. He actually used the dual tech, the slick section of the 360 hold to push up into the next crimp.
Here's Luce Duardi, very promising young French climber. Top number 2, got the zone on number 1, and she's already got the zone on number 3. If she could find a top here, she'd be in an incredibly strong position. It's a big if though, it's a tough boulder, that women's 3. Yoshiyuki Ogata creeping his way up, and you would imagine about to find a top on number 2.
Oh, goodness.
Missed the top hold. I'm trying to think if we've seen anybody miss the top hold yet.
I think we saw Sean do that once, actually.
Yes, perhaps.
Yeah.
We certainly haven't seen many. It's been a move most people have completed first go.
Yeah, no, I think because he didn't really leave his foot, so if he was going to be that dynamic, he should have probably popped. Because that hold is good enough to jump to. Sean did that the second time, and it worked out. But if you're going to keep that foot, then you might as well stem and actually use both volumes. But if you're not, then go ahead and leave it.
This is Akio Noguchi, a master of movement. Having a few issues with the slab.
That is
lining up something completely different here. She's looking over at that zone as if she's going to go with her hands.
Right, I think she's going to pop again. Oh.
Yeah, surprising. It's normally things like that, Akio just walks across gracefully.
Yeah.
If she'd got across to the zone, I'm still not quite sure what she would have done, even if she'd stayed on.
And it's funny to me just because, of her experience and everything, I'm wondering why she's not going with the left to that little cheetah dual tech foot and then popping out to the zone. And maybe she's seeing it now, but I figured she would see it a little faster, so we'll see. Nope, gonna go with it again. All right. Yeah. I think she sees it now.
Top from Yoshiyuki Ogatari got there in the end.
Decided to actually wedge his way up there and use his feet a little bit more. Paid off.
This is Alana Yip. She did well there. Actually, feet swung right out, and there's black tape on the right-hand side of that wall, so she can't hook a toe around the wall. She did well not to kick beyond the black tape.
There she's got her heel if she can push.
Alana on number 4.
Shaking out a little bit, trying to get it back.
She got number 2 done, Alana Yip.
That's right.
So if she could find a top, she'd be on 2 tops, 3 zones. Depending on attempts, it may be enough. I don't think it would be actually on attempts, but it wouldn't be far off a spot in the final, but I don't think would quite make it. Trying to leave her on pretty hard without the foot.
We didn't see it a little earlier on this. Maybe we can get it on the screen, but Akio got a top on women's 2.
She did?
Yeah, she did.
Excellent. So top for Akio. Had to work perhaps a little harder than you might have expected. One interesting thing, by the way, we've just seen Yanni Gambra come out onto number 2. She's not going to be the top rank going into the final, Yanni, because Fanny Gibert got 4 tops.
That's right.
So that even that is unusual for Yanni. Even if she does make the final, she won't be top in the rankings.
Yeah. And really, I think the thing that a lot of people tend to not understand, especially like the youngsters in the competitive world, it's all about making it to the next round here. Yeah. It's all about making it to the next round, because if you do, and no matter how bad that round was, it's over. You can't be thinking about it anymore.
So Yanni, no problems. Yeah, I mean, we have occasionally this season seen her look slightly troubled and then rescue the situation.
Yeah, looks like she's doing that now.
Yeah, I mean, even though she didn't get number 1 done, she gets number 2 done, and she hasn't, I was going to say she hasn't just cruised every round of the season. It's not been far off. But there have been times where she's looked troubled, so that failure on number 1, it doesn't mean she can't make the final. She could still make amends, and she's off to a good start doing that. Finds a top on number 2.
And very quickly, too, which gives her a little bit more time to recover. 4 minutes.
Here's Adam Ondra, men's 2. So I said after about 10 climbers, I think everybody would get this done. Interesting, Kai Harada didn't get number 2 done.
Oh, is that?
I don't know if I don't know how much of Kai we saw. He didn't get it done, but if Adam does, it'll be 19 out of 20. Adam looking for a season title again. The last time he won the Boulder overall title for the World Cups was 2010. Climbing has changed a lot since then.
That's right.
And he's still here, and he's still arguably the greatest climber on the face of the earth. He spotted the black jib.
And just keeping it together. There it is.
Just keep it steady. That right foot just slipped from Adam. He's got plenty of time to make amends. Frustrating though, because we've talked a lot about it, but that extra rest, slightly awkward fall from Miho. That extra rest might have come in handy. Kind of frustrating for Adam. He's now going to spend another few minutes potentially. He's actually changing his shoes down in front of us.
But he does clearly know he can get that. That is not a tough move.
I think that's the thing. Yeah, it's just another couple of minutes out in front of the crowd, and the kind of adrenaline that comes with that, and the physical effort of trying the boulder again, albeit it's not the most physical of the men's boulders. Here is Tomoa Narasaki lining it up on number 4.
Oh! With an impressive toe hook to keep the top. That was awesome.
So that's 4 tops, 4 boulders from Tomoa Narasaki. He joins Jongwon Chon and Jan Hoyer in the 4 tops club. He is safely through into the final, and he will have a shot at winning the overall season title.
Alex Johnson.
Miho Nanaka now levering her way up on number 4.
Let's see, she's got a little
She's
bit.
pretty much already secured her place in the final, Miho, barring a miracle. But she could really cement it here. Fanny Gibert really setting the standard here in Vale. Remember, Fanny has never won a World Cup, and she is coming out top of this semi-final if things go as they are. 4 tops for her. There it is for Adam Ondra, as you rightly said. Looked like he knew he could do it. And did you notice you've got different shoes on each foot?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So he knew
A
what he
little more
wanted for
texture
that
there,
right
exactly.
foot. Yeah. He's a thinking climber, Adam Ondra. Here's Miho, as you can see, already second in the standings. This wouldn't actually move her up into first place because you can't catch 4 top Fanny Gibert. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if she just calls this a day, because you've only got so much skin and you've only got so much energy, and
she's looking at it. She's
yeah, I'm just trying to look around the venue to see if there are any screens where she might have been
I
looking.
think she's going to do it again. Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to try again. Here's Alex Johnson.
On number 4, sticking the zone. Very good. Come on, Alex. All right. And yep, same thing. Everybody's just figuring out that it's the left hand and not the right.
Yeah, and that's a shame for Alex Johnson. That's 3 zones on the 3 boulders from her, but no top, so she's not going to make it through to the final. Looks slightly hacked off as she makes her way off the stage.
A little frustrated. Yep.
Kyo Noguchi, Yoshiyuki Ogata, Meichi Narasaki and Luce Duardi come out on the stage. You can see there, it's all Team Japan in the middle of the stage. 3 Japanese jerseys next to each other. And Luce Duardi, the latest to try her luck on that slab / grovel on the right-hand side.
There we go. She had a little bit of a power-like move right before getting on the wall. Like, she looks ready to go and do this thing. It was appropriate, too, because you do need to fight for that boulder every single second.
So Tomoa Narasaki is safely into the final. How many of his compatriots can join him? For now, we'll stick with Luce Duardi. Did well on the jump there. Currently in 11th place. She got 1 top and 3 zones so far coming here. Made that 1 top and 4 zones, and I think it could be about to become
really good here.
2 tops.
She's got her hip over, and that's it. Now she's got to just calm down, and there it is. Done.
Luce Duardi, 2 tops, 4 zones. Let's have a look on attempts where that puts her. I think that puts her into the final. It does.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Every boulder matters.
Yeah, Luce Duardi is into the final.
That was amazing. Yeah.
Incredible performance from the young French climber. 3rd place so far in the semi-final. Here's Meichi Narasaki. This would give him 3 tops and 4 zones if he could find a top. He's already got all the zones and just slightly lost track of his feet, I feel.
Yeah, just leaving that toe hook. It's kind of, I've seen people not use it so far, and people using it, but the essential thing is getting your right foot onto that crimp again. So any way you can do that will definitely secure, well, at least a good attempt on the final hold.
That's
looking lonely back there.
Yeah, Yanni Gamret all alone, lost in her thoughts. Did not get it done on number 1. As I said, plenty of opportunity to make amends. So 3 tops will easily see you into the women's final. 2 tops, 4 zones would also see you in depending on attempt. So she can still make it, but we're always surprised when there's a boulder that stops Yanya. Kyo Noguchi, immaculate precision there.
Nice. Let's see if she can keep it.
She always looked like she was slightly short there, perhaps didn't quite find the sweet spot.
A little bit, and like her hips just started to come out just a little more, and on that kind of tensiony move, you need your hips in as much as you possibly can. Yes, okay, so switching up the beta, getting the toe so we can pull, and I think that's going to be another top. Yep.
That's the top for Meichi Narasaki, the youth world champion, tops number 4. And that is going to move him up into, let's see, we'll see. It'll come down to attempts. It's getting pretty tight at the business end of the men's competition. 3 tops and 4 zones was not enough for Kokoro Fuji. So it'll be dependent on attempts for Meichi, and it's not enough. 3 tops, 4 zones for him, but it took him 10 attempts, and he misses out on the final 8th place as it stands. This is getting very congested up at the top.
Very tight, very tight.
Here goes Akio. Be a big surprise if she wasn't making it into the final. We didn't see her in action in Munich. Always good to see her climbing. 4 times
really
the season
strong
champion. She's not going to make it 5 this year.
Oh, and she kept it.
Big cheer from the crowd. Akio Noguchi made it work. And she finds the top. She needed that.
Nice.
She was under a bit of pressure there. But finds a way when you've won 21 World Cups.
You learn to deal with that pressure.
You've got a bit of mileage.
Yeah.
Does not give much away mid-competition, Akio Noguchi, does she? Game face firmly back on.
Oh no, not until it's over.
And gets back behind the wall. Here's Kai Harada, Adam Ondra and Alex Johnson. The final already gone, sadly, for Alex Johnson. Final very much in reach for Adam Ondra. Kai Harada, no, final is already gone for him. Doesn't matter what he does on number 4. The Boulder World Champion from Innsbruck last year. It's not going to happen. Jongwon Chon and Jan Hoyer, we said when they were climbing, they both always seem to climb well here. Love being in Colorado. And they're safely into the final.
Proof's in the pudding right there.
So Kai Harada cannot take a place in the final, but Janja Garnbret can. Adam Ondra can. Janja really needs to top here.
Yes, she does. Oh my goodness.
Now she
Let's see.
flashed number 2. Remember, 3 tops will see her in safely. So it's more than possible, but she's put herself under a little bit of pressure, and we're not used to seeing that.
This seems like a boulder she can make quick work of, and number 4 doesn't seem like something that will really stump her.
No, this is a tough move off the zone though, isn't it?
Yes.
And then the next one is the one that Akio really struggled with and took a few attempts on. So
if Janja
no
has
gimme.
one thing, it's definitely footwork though, and if she can adjust
And if
on
she-
that right foot and make that work,
And
then
if she
she
has
can keep
another
it.
thing, it's power. So we'll see. She's taking her time. I think she knows attempts could be crucial here. She's
Oh,
not done
wow.
anything too risky just yet. The problem with that is it then makes the next move harder.
yes, it does.
You can see from all the scuff marks on that red hold where it's been used.
Exactly, and if it just, you can see like on the left side, that's where it's getting used right here to get over to the left, and then it creeps over to the middle just for that move, right there, exactly.
Now she goes for it and she
Yep.
makes it work. First time, Janja Garnbret. Well, Boulder 1 was beginning to look like a blip.
There we go.
Two flashes.
Getting into her zone here, getting like the full recovery. She's got another 3 minutes, and then we got to just fight on that last boulder.
Yeah, I mean,
Hopefully it doesn't cut her up too bad.
she's not yet into the final. She's in
No.
7th as it stands.
Yeah.
2 tops, 3 zones. If she can get pretty much anything out of the last boulder, including a zone, that'll be her into the final.
Exactly.
Laura Rigora just ahead of her. Just goes to show that persistence pays off. I think Laura Rigora is likely to be replaced in the final by Janja Garnbret. But she got 4 zones in 25 attempts. So it just goes to show. You just keep fighting.
It pays off. It really does.
It pays off. I think sadly for her, the most likely outcome is that Janja will get at least a zone on number 4 and displace Laura.
And I think that's, while that is disappointing, it's very, like, it's amazing. It's a good comp, like, for her. It puts her, it allows her to see, like, oh, I can hang with these folks. Like, I can be here in finals. You know, and that, I mean, that gives you the confidence to really just move forward, like, get your training, like, to a whole other level and come back and show the people something.
Alex Johnson getting plenty of cheers here from the US crowd. They've enjoyed watching her climb. It hasn't quite been her day, and she won't be appearing in another Vail final, sadly for her.
I'd still like to see her top this.
I think most people in the venue would like
Yeah.
to see her top this
It's
year.
going to get really loud here in a second, guys.
There's one hand. Just needs to get the feet in place, and it's about to be a second
there
hand.
it goes. And there goes that crowd.
Yeah, I think on reflection she'll be disappointed with her semi-final, but nice to end it on a high. Finds a top on number 4, and Adam Ondra is
Struggling. Yeah.
we've just looked back, is all ends up on number 3, cannot seem to find a way. If Adam can't find a zone here on number 3, that is it, he's not in the final.
What?
Okay. From what we're seeing on the scores, we haven't watched him throughout. We've been over watching Alex Johnson. We saw Janja climbing on number 3, so we haven't seen every attempt, but it's not showing Adam as having a zone. And if he cannot find a zone, he is not going to make it through to the final. If he can't find a top, it's going to be very close if he makes it to the final, even if he does get the zone.
Let's see if he can make this work. All right. And it looks like there's enough time for him to get the zone at least.
Okay,
And
so he's
he'll
got a
have that.
zone. Now, it could still come down to attempts, so we'll just keep an eye on Kai Harada. Top for him for the world champion. It's not enough, though, when he sees the scores.
Yes.
He will realise it's not enough. But
And
Adam
I think
Ondra,
he'll get this. This is
we need
not
to
the
go.
hardest move. Here
I
we
was about to
go.
say, we need to go to Adam Ondra.
Wow.
Oh,
Talk
Adam, that was
about
close.
clutch. That was very clutch.
He was. I looked across at the stage a couple of times, and I didn't see every attempt. I didn't see every method. But every time I looked over, he was never far up the boulder.
No.
He'd not made much of a dent on it at all. And if he hadn't even got a zone, he was out of the final. And as I say, even if he got just a zone but not the top, it may not have been enough for the final. It's very tight at the top end of the men's rankings. But as it is, he keeps himself alive with, what, 10 seconds to go?
Yeah, very, very necessary boulder to finish.
Absolutely. So where's Yoshiyuki Ogata? He's currently in 9th place. He's got 3 tops. If he makes it 4 here, he's safely into the final. And it's Nathaniel Coleman who's currently in the potential drop zone. He's in 6th right now. Could get shunted out. Here's Akio Noguchi. Gets the jump done. No problems there. Currently also in 9th place. Actually now into 4th with that zone. So Akio safely into the final.
Yeah, this move here, I just as far as Akio is concerned, I just don't think that she would have too much trouble with it. If she can move her toe out of the way, I think it'll be all right. And yep.
So Akio, by claiming that zone, has made her way into finals. Been on the podium 6 times here in Vail.
Yep.
And has the opportunity to make it 7.
He's very comfortable in those like really awkward like moves and just chilling there. Yeah.
And I
So yeah, made that work quick, really quick.
Yep, safely down and safely into the final. 3 tops, 4 zones for Akio Noguchi. Here's Yoshiyuki Ogata. If he can find a top, he will move into the final place at the expense of Nathaniel Coleman. Been a lot of tops actually in this men's semi-final. You need 4 to guarantee a place in the final. If you get 3 tops and 4 zones, as you can see on the left of your screen there, then it all gets very tight. 5 climbers on 3 tops, 4 zones. Yoshiyuki finds a top and he finds his way into the final. He will take the place of Nathaniel Coleman and move somewhere into a quite congested top 4 from the semi-final round as it stands right now. There he goes, moves into joint 2nd with Jan Hoyer, so 4 tops for all of them. So the stage is empty all of a sudden.
Yeah, well.
There we can see, over on the women's side, nobody yet matching Fanny Gibert, and nobody is going to match Fanny Gibert. Janja Gombrek could not get the job done on number 1, so Fanny will go into the final ranked in 1st place. As it stands right now, Akio Noguchi, Miho Nanaka, Luz Duardi, Mao Nakamura and Natalia Grossman would be joining her. Can't help but feel slightly sorry for Team USA if they have two climbers in 6th who get bumped at the last second.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing, but you know, that's these comps are, that's just the way it goes sometimes. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're all going to have fun over here. So we're going to have a very fun final.
We are, but special for all Team USA. There we go. Jongwon Chon still leading the way. A Vale winner, followed by another Vale winner, Jan Hoyer, in joint second place with 4 tops in 11 attempts. With Yoshiyuki Ogata, Tomoe Narasaki is gunning for the overall title. Sean McColl is safely through, and Taisai Ishimatsu now is in the drop zone. Nathaniel Coleman's already out, sadly for him and for the local crowd. But it's Taisai Ishimatsu who will have to watch on. If Adam Ondra can find a top, he will be into the final. Interestingly, if he can find a zone, it won't be enough for Adam due to attempts.
Woof.
So it's a top or bust for Adam. Let's have another look at men's 4. It's just off to the right of the centre. You can see the big sponsor banner on top of the wall. It's the one down and right of that, black and red volumes. It is top or bust for Adam.
Yeah, that's not a ton of pressure or anything.
No.
Yeah.
And then Tomoe Narasaki. Actually, if Adam was to finish where he currently is, which is 10th, and Tomoe was to finish last in the final, 6th, that actually wouldn't be enough to take the season title, so it would get slightly complicated. But we'll just watch Adam for now. Then we can see the rankings.
Then we can get into that math here in a bit.
Here comes Yanya. So this is absolutely huge. What a way to finish this semi-final here in Vale. Yanya Gamera, who's already claimed the season title but is looking for the first clean sweep in IFSC history in any discipline, male or female, is looking to secure a place in the final. Adam Ondra, arguably the world's greatest climber, is looking to secure his 2nd ever Boulder World Cup season title, and he is gunning for a place in the final. 5 minutes from now, we could have 2 huge shocks, or we could have 2 finals incredibly set up for this afternoon. We will find out. There's the zone for Yanya.
And there goes Adam, starting up on his first attempt.
So yeah, by the way, Yanya safely into the final thanks to that
That's
zone.
right.
Yeah, so she's through. That's the first piece of the puzzle. Yanya, Vale 2017, the only time in World Cup history that she has not made it into the final.
Yeah.
Quite incredible. The curse does not continue. I wondered if we were in for a big shock on number 1. She didn't look in the mood. She looked tired. She looked frustrated. But she's made amends, and I think she is likely heading for her 3rd top here. She seems to have that heel pretty solid.
Yeah. An interesting beta from Adam here with a little paddle going to the crimp. That does not look comfortable, I'm not going to lie.
We'll go to Adam in just a second.
Yeah.
For now, it's all about Yanya safely finds the top. And she looks relieved. 3 tops and 4 zones. Right, let's go across to Adam. This for a place in the final for Adam Ondra, and we would have a shootout between him and Tomoe for the overall season title. 3 minutes 20 remaining for him to find something. He's looked pretty comfortable from what little we've seen on him on screen.
And he's got the top.
Adam Ondra finds 4 tops. He's safely into the final. Him and Tomoe will gun it out in the last action of the bouldering season for 2019 for the overall title. He has a 24-point lead. If he wins the competition, in fact, if he finishes ahead of Tomoe Narasaki, it's all over. They're going to be climbing here 3 p.m. at Vale time. We've got the women up first, followed by the men. Yanya's looking for the clean sweep. Adam's looking for the season title. This could not be set up any better.
What an exciting semi-final round. Oh my God. Like, lots of things switched up on us, and I think the spread is pretty perfect. Yeah, it looks like only Sean is
Sean
the only one with 3.
Sean McCall, the only climber into the men's final without 4 tops. There we can see it. Fanny Gibert claims the 4 tops. She's the only climber to do it. Yanya Gamera made amends after a shaky start. She ends up 2nd in the semi-finals. Akio Noguchi, Miho Nanaka, Luce Duardi and Mao Nakamura safely through. 2 French, 3 Japanese and 1 Slovenian. But the one is Yanya Gamera. Watch out. Natalia Grossman just misses out in 7th place. Margot Hayes down there in 11th, and Alex Johnson and Kyra Condi, both finalists here, might have been hoping for better. Ditto the Canadians Alana Yip and Alison Vest. And it was Julia Shanodi not making a final after appearing in Munich 3 weeks ago, and Natsuki Tani rounding out the top 20. Look at the lineup for this men's final. Jongwon Chon, Yan Hoya, Yoshiyuki Ogata, Tomoa Narasaki, Adam Ondra and Sean McColl. 5 World Cup winners, joined by Yoshiyuki Ogata, who many people say is the best of all the Japanese and the all-rounders. That is a heavyweight final. Taisei Ishimatsu just misses out. Ditto Nathaniel Coleman. Team USA could count themselves slightly unlucky today. And further down the order, we've got 4 Japanese climbers in that lower half of the semi-final. Matt Fultz rounded out in 20th place, and a nice little touch on the men's side. Every climber got a top. So Ahmed, always a pleasure to have you on the live stream. I think that's every time I've been to Vail we've had you on, and a few appearances in Arco as well, but always a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
And it's going to be some final this afternoon,
It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah, climbing gets underway at 3 o'clock. We'll be on about 20 minutes before that, but 3 o'clock local time here in Vail for what promises to be 2 fascinating finals. Can you do the clean sweep? Can Adam Ondra or Tomoa Narasaki claim their second title? All will be decided here in Vail. 3 p.m. Colorado time. Look forward to seeing you then.